What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. I am so excited about today's video because we are going to be unboxing and trying on the new Sinister mystery box from Cosmic Brushes. Now, I am not someone who typically gets excited over a mystery box because I like to know exactly what I am spending my hard-earned money on, and typically mystery boxes are chocked full of backstock, discontinued things, sometimes expired products, and I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in wasting my money on repeat or expired products. But when I saw that this box contained 7 brand new full-size products, including an eyeshadow palette, I couldn't resist because I do love Cosmic Beauty. They are one of my absolute favorite brands because not only do they have an impeccable formula and beautiful color stories, but they are still a more affordable indie brand, and I absolutely love that. And speaking of affordable, this box does retail for $77, which breaks down to roughly $11 in a product, and it is a $121 value. So you are definitely getting your money's worth out of this one, especially if you love every single product in this box. Now, if you ordered it, it's on your way to you, and you do not want to know what is in here, I suggest you exit out of the video now. You can always come back later and get a little bit of inspiration, but if you're on the fence about whether to order it or you really just cannot wait to see what's in this box, then stick around for the rest of the video. All right, y'all, I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to dive into this box and see exactly what kind of goodies we have in here. I've never tried anything from the brand other than their eyeshadows, so I don't know if we're gonna be getting a bunch of eye products, if we're gonna be getting some cheap products, lip products, brushes. The possibilities are endless, but I do already have on my foundation, concealer, and bronzer. I figured I was pretty safe with that, and if I need to pull in other things to complete the look, I absolutely can. But I will have this box linked down below in the description box, but keep in mind, as of now, it is currently sold out, but the brand did say when they first put this up as a pre-order that they are going to be bringing it back as regular stock at the end of November. I will try and keep y'all updated as to when that restock happens. I know I'm not the best at doing that, but I am trying to. It is something that I am working on, especially going into the new year. But this will be linked down below, as well as everything else that I use in today's video to complete my look. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But let's go ahead and just kind of flip this box open and get a little sneak peek as to what we are working with. So this box is ginormous. I'm gonna try and make sure that it is in frame. But how does it open? Okay, so it flips up just like this. And of course we have this little foam piece over top. Let's take this off. Ta-da! All right, so that is everything that is in the Sinister mystery box. So it looks like we've got an eyeshadow palette in the middle, and then it looks like we have 3 cream blushes and 3 velvet matte lipsticks. So let's go ahead and start pulling out products and check out everything we got. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull everything out, and then we'll jump into it. All right, so the big box is out of the way. I zoomed y'all in just a little bit, and we're gonna start diving into these products. So we're gonna start with the cream blushes. So there's 3 of them in this box, and the shades are going to be Got Chills, Heroine, and Dazed. I cannot wait to see what shades these are, and I'm really excited about the formula because I love a good cream blush. So opening up the first one, this is Got Chills, and this is what the component looks like. This is really nice. It feels a little weighty. It doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel super heavy either. And let's open this up. So here we go. This is the shade Got Chills. Ooh, that is a really pretty pink blush. Let's do a swatch. I love the shade. I think it's beautiful. This feels nice and creamy. It doesn't feel super thick, stiff, or putty-like. It just feels very creamy, but it doesn't feel super balmy. So I really appreciate that. But this is the first shade right here. So this is going to be very fair, cool tones friendly. I think that's going to be absolutely beautiful. I do really enjoy a good bubblegum pink blush, but let's see if it's going to build up on itself or if it's gonna kind of do anything weird. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to get the whole story from a swatch, but this will give us a good basis to start out on. Now, this does feel like it's got a little bit of a tack to it, but we'll see if it dries down to like more of a powder-like finish, if it's gonna have a sheen to it or anything like that. All right, so up next we have the shade Dazed. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely beautiful. That is a really pretty kind of mauvey, plummy wine shade. I know I'm throwing like a million different descriptors into one shade, but again, it has that same kind of texture to it, nice and creamy, but not super balmy or stiff or anything like that. And we're gonna do a swatch of this one right here. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. I really love that shade. These do look like they have a nice little sheen to them, so they're not gonna dry down fully matte, I don't think. Obviously, we'll find out when we get to apply these on the cheek, but that so far is my favorite color of the two that we've swatched out. And last but not least, we have the shade Heroin. Oh my gosh, that is an absolutely beautiful purple blush. I was not expecting that. Based off of the swatches and the way things were going, I was expecting maybe more of like a neutral brown or a bright red, maybe even something a little bit more on the orange side, but I was not expecting an orange blush, but this is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to swatch this out. This might be the one that we try on today. So again, same texture, very creamy, not stiff, not balmy, and this is what it looks like. So it definitely has good pigmentation to it, but this looks like it's going to sheer out really nicely. And honestly, based off of just the finger swatch, I like this purple cream blush better than the one in the Wicked Widow collection. That one is very intimidating, but I am so excited about this one. So I think this is the one that we're going to try on today. So let me go ahead and grab a brush and we're gonna put a little bit of this on the cheeks. All right, so I found a brush that is clean-ish. It's not perfect, but it's clean enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig my brush in here, pick up some of that product. So that's what it looks like. And we're gonna go in pretty light-handed. Now, I don't have any powder on my face just because I wasn't sure what we were gonna be getting in here. So I will definitely have to try this out over powder products, but that is very pigmented. So let's put a little bit on over here and see if we can distribute this. Now, for me, I love a purple blush, but they are very hit or miss. It depends on the pigmentation and how they kind of sheer out. They can look a little bruisey if they're done wrong. And this one I do think is really beautiful, but I'm gonna have to be very careful with how I wear it. I will say in person, it looks a little bit more berry on my skin than it does on camera. On camera, it looks very, very purple, but I'm hoping once we get the rest of the makeup done, it will kind of bring everything together. I think this is gonna look absolutely beautiful on deeper skin tones. All right, so this is what the blush is looking like, and I think it looks really pretty. I did throw on a little bit of this baby pink shade over top just to kind of tone it down a little bit. It was looking a little bruisey on my fair skin, but I don't mind mixing and matching blushes. But as far as the formula goes, I think it went on really, really nicely. It didn't lift any of the product underneath. It didn't move anything around. It didn't patch. It didn't pill. It didn't do anything funky, and it feels like it's gonna dry down pretty well. It still has a little bit of kind of that tack to it, but nothing like your hair is going to stick to it or anything like that. So I will keep y'all posted because I definitely want to try these over a powder and see how they perform that way. But let's go ahead and move on to the lipstick. So we have 3 of the Velvet Matte lipsticks, and this is going to be an ultra creamy, velvety smooth formula. So I'm really hoping that this is ultra creamy because I am not a huge fan of matte lip products because usually they are very drying and I have very dry lips to begin with. So for this, we have 3 shades as well. We have the shades Salem, Nancy, and Clarice. Ooh, I absolutely love those names. I'm so curious to see what Clarice looks like. But let's go ahead and start with the shade Salem. So let me grab my little tweezers so I can pop this box open. All right, come on out. Ooh, okay, so this is what the component looks like. It's sticking along the theme of the silver, which is going to be very fingerprinty, very reflective. I apologize, but let's see what this shade looks like. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely beautiful. This is the shade Salem. So let's go ahead and swatch this on this hand. This is going to be very awkward for me. Oh my gosh, that is a beautiful kind of brownie burnt orange shade. Perfect for the fall and the winter months. I love that one. Okay, let's see. Up next we have the shade Nancy. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is going to be like a deep wine or purple or burgundy shade, just based off of if it's named after Nancy from The Craft, she always had that darker lip. So let's open her up. Ooh, yep, very dark. It looks like it's got a little bit of like a more brown shade to it. Yep, absolutely. But that is beautiful. I don't have anything like that in my collection. I do have some darker lip colors because I do enjoy them in the more fall months, but I don't have anything like that. That is very pretty. And last but not least, we have the shade Clarice. Okay, that is a very interesting shade. It is very pale. I'm sure this is meant to like layer over top of other things, but I kind of like that on its own as well. It's giving that early 2000s concealer lip that we all had. I was so adamant back in the day that I was not going to wear lip products, and my mom always gave me a hard time because she was like, you look like death warmed over with your pale lip, but I really like that shade. So I don't know what I want to put on. We're going to come back to it after we do our eye look, but those are the three shades. This does feel very creamy. It does look like it's going to dry down to like a soft matte, maybe not a full-on matte, but I am excited to see how this is going to wear over time, if it's going to dry out my lips, if it's going to crack, if it's going to fall apart or anything like that. All right, y'all, so the time has come to open the Sinister eye palette, and I'm excited about this. I don't really know what to expect in here. I'm assuming we're gonna have some reds just based off of the packaging, but we're gonna go ahead and slide this out of its outer packaging, which the inside looks just like the outside. And are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Ooh, oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Look at the reds, the purples, the grays. We've got lots of depth in here. We've got some beautiful shimmers, and this one, y'all, that's funny. This one down here, there's nothing in the pan, and it's called Ghost. That is so cute. I love that. Is it a waste of a pan? Absolutely, but I still think it's fun. But I love this color story in here. I love the combination of the reds and the purples, and I don't know what we're gonna do for a look, but I'm definitely thinking we're gonna do a lip real quick. So I wanna do maybe more of like a 90s lip with that really pale shade, and then we'll create our eye look. All right, y'all, so this is the lip combo that I chose. My camera cut off, so I apologize, but I did go in with a Lunar Beauty lip liner in the shade Cocoa, and then I went over top with the Clarice lipstick, and I actually really like the way that it turned out. The combination of the lip liner and the lipstick really gave a lot of depth to the lips, and I like the way that it looks. But let's go ahead and create our eye look. So my eyes are primed with my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly per usual, and for this, I'm kind of thinking of maybe doing a gray and purple look. I'm really trying to get into cool tones, and the last few times I've tried, somehow I managed to pull it more on the warmer side. So for this, I'm gonna go ahead and start right here with this really light shade, which is called Bone. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 202 brush, and I'm just gonna start by kind of fluffing this into my crease and giving a nice base to kind of blend everything into. I don't always do this, but sometimes I like to have something that's just gonna kind of ground everything, especially if I'm going in with a lot of darker shades, and this is definitely going to be a more dark and smoky eye look. All right, with that same brush, I'm gonna go into this gray shade right here. This one is called Crypt. So I'm just gonna put this into my crease as well. I'm not gonna bring it quite as high up. I'm just gonna kind of blend it more so into like that socket portion, and then kind of fluff it up and blend it out, giving some depth to my eye and a little bit of shape. I'm not gonna bring this down onto my lower lash line or anything like that, but I am gonna kind of smoke it out here just so we have a nice kind of gradient. That is a really pretty gray shade. I actually really like this one. It's not pulling too cool toned like a slate shade or anything like that. Sometimes I do get that with grays, but this one is going on like a true gray, and I really appreciate that. All right, so next for the outer corner, I'm gonna go into this really pretty purple shade right here. This one is called Cursed. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with a Sigma E24 brush, and I'm gonna try not to bring this up too high or really have it take over the look. I just want this to be like an accent. I don't want it to be the main focal point of the eye look. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up just a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of press it right here on the outer corner. I'm not gonna bring it too high up into the socket or into the crease, and I am gonna kind of blow it out just a little bit out here, and then I'm gonna wrap this around down onto my lower lash line. I want my lower lash line to have a good amount of purple pigmentation down there, but up here on the lid, I want it to be just sort of an accent. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It makes sense in my head, but sometimes words don't always translate the way that I think they're going to. But like I said, down on onto the lower lash line as well, and I'm going to bring it over as far as I did on my lid, and then I'll probably go back in with another purple shade and blend out the rest of the lower lash line. But that is absolutely beautiful. It went on perfectly, no fallout, no patching, no skipping. I'm not getting any kick up in the pan. These are performing the way that I expect them to. Next, I want to go into this black shade down here, which is called Void, and I want to deepen up the outer corner just a smidge. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Morphe M506 brush, and I'm going to go in very lightly handed because I'm sure this is a very pigmented black shade. And I'm just going to tap it right here on the outer corner, and then once I have that shade down, I can very lightly kind of buff it in to that shade and just kind of deepen everything up. You see how that's giving me just that little bit of extra depth out here? That's what I'm going for. Oh, that is a big stretch. Big stretch. Oh. All right, before we put shimmer on the lid, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, this really pretty kind of like periwinkle purple shade, and I'm gonna put that on the rest of my lower lash line. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with this little brush from Unearthly. This is a UC8-7 brush, and I'm just going to very lightly kind of smudge and blend this down on my lower lash line. I don't want it to get too far away from me, and I don't want it to take over the look, but I just kind of want to tie in that purple and bring it all the way across. Alright, so my lid is primed with my NYX glitter primer, and it's time to decide what shimmer we're going to put all over this lid. So a part of me really wants to go in with this shade right here. It's like this really pretty multi-chrome, but it almost has a little bit of like a holographic shift to it as well. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, but then of course I'm also torn with this purple shade right here. So I'm going to do a swatch of each of them on my hand and then kind of make the executive decision from there. So let's go ahead and start with this one up here, which is called Eerie. Oh, that is so incredibly beautiful. I really love that one. I think that's going to give a really cool kind of shift and iridescence to the look. But then we have this one right here, which is called Haunted, and this one is definitely going to have more of that purple to it. This one doesn't look like it has a shift or anything like that to it, but it is a really pretty shimmer shade. But I think I want to go in with this one. I want to do something a little bit different, something a little bit out of the norm for me. So we're going to go in with this one up here, which is called Eerie. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my BK Beauty 203 brush. I am going to spray this with some MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to put this all over my lid. Now, I don't know if I'm going to bring it into the inner corner. I don't know if we're going to need something to kind of blend it into the outer corner or not, but we're going to go ahead and start here. So we're going to give it a little bit of a spritz. I'm going to start by pressing this all over my lid. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I'm going to bring it all the way over to the inner corner, and then I'm going to kind of stop right here where that matte shade is because, well, maybe not. I think that's going to blend in really nicely. Never mind, I was thinking I'm definitely going to have to go in with something darker, but it's kind of shifting when it goes over that purple, like it's taking on that undertone. Oh wow, that is a stunning, stunning shade. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and finish this look off with the inner corner, and for that, I wanna go into this really pretty dusty lilac shade up here, which is called Paranormal. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with my Sigma E42 brush, and I'm just gonna pop this right into my inner corner. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it matte, and this should make it nice and light and bright and give a little kind of a pop in there. Yeah, I like that. Alright y'all, so this is the completed look, and I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. I'm really loving that pop of purple with those cool tone grays, more so than I thought I was going to, I have to admit, and that shifty holographic shade all over the lid is just absolutely stunning. It went on so smooth, I didn't get any fallout, it's not accentuating texture, and it has the most beautiful shift depending on what color it's lined up next to. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn down the lights, we can see that shimmer, the shift, the sparkle, and then we can close out this video with all of my thoughts on this mystery box. So in my lower waterline, I went in with the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal Liner in the shade Fig. I lined my lid with my ZC Liquid Liner, and for mascara, I went in with my Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerize Mascara. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and chat about this box. Now, overall, as a whole, I think they did a really good job curating this box. I like the variety of products we got in here. I like the shade selections. I like the formulas, and I think this is definitely worth the price point that they're offering on it. But let's go over these products individually so I can give you my thoughts. So let's go ahead and start with the cream blushes because I really like these. I think this is a fantastic formula. I think the packaging is really pretty. Yes, it's very reflective. It's gonna get very fingerprinty, but it doesn't feel cheap and it doesn't feel like it's gonna break or anything like that. You also get a mirror in with each one of these as well, and I really like the shade selections. I was afraid that I wasn't going to, but I think this one is probably still going to be my favorite out of all of them just because it's going to be a little bit more on that kind of rosy side, a little bit more everyday wearable for me personally. But I do think that there's something in here for every skin tone, so it's not just catering towards dark skin tones or light skin tones. And if you like the shades in here, I think you're really gonna like the color selection in here. Now, I do think that the purple one is absolutely beautiful as well, but I have to admit it is a little intimidating for my fair skin. But when I put that sort of bubblegum pink on over top, it really kind of toned it down and gave it a better shade for my fair skin. But I think the formula is incredible. It does feel like it dried down pretty good, but it didn't dry down to a powder finish. It definitely feels like it has a little bit more of like that skin-like feeling to it, if you know what I mean. But I'm excited to test these out a little bit more and see how they're gonna wear over powder and things like that. All right, so next up we have the lipsticks, and I'm really impressed with this formula. It is a matte formula, but it is definitely a little bit more on the hydrating side. It feels very comfortable on my lips. I've had it on for about 45 minutes at this point, and I don't feel like it's sucking the moisture out of my lips. I don't feel the need to put a gloss or a balm on over top, so I do really appreciate that. Now, as far as longevity goes, they are one that's going to wear off throughout the day because it's not drying down to a transfer-proof finish, but I do think it's going to have a long-lasting effect on the lips, if you know what I mean. And I do really like the shades that they include in here. I found them to be a little bit more wearable than what I was expecting based off of the fact that it is a spooky season mystery box. You kind of expect to have like your greens and your blues and things like that, which for me personally is not something I'm comfortable wearing, but I was surprised that I really do enjoy the shades in here, and I think there's a little something for every skin tone if these are shades that you're going to like. Now, the shade Clarice, which is the one that I have on my lips right now, I'm really impressed with how wearable this is, and I think depending on the liner that you pair it with is going to depend on kind of the look that you get. This one I paired with that dark brown lip liner, so it's giving me a little bit more of that 90s lip, but I think if you were to go in with like a red lip liner or maybe even a purple or a berry, you would get a really cool effect as well. This would also be a really good one to put over top of the shade Nancy and kind of lighten it up, because this one is a little intimidating for me. It's definitely on the darker side. I am very fair, and sometimes darker shades can kind of wash me out, but I do think it's a beautiful color. I like that it's not a solid brown or a solid purple or a solid black. It just has this really pretty undertone to it, and like I said, I think this one would pair absolutely beautifully with that shade Clarice. But I think Salem is going to be my favorite. I love a good kind of burnt orange shade in the fall time, and I think this one is going to be more wearable for a lot of people across the board as well. And lastly, we have the eyeshadow palette. I think this is absolutely beautiful. I think the color story in here is very well curated. I like the combination of the warm tones and the cool tones. I think it's so fun that they added this little empty pan down here and called it Ghost. Is it a waste of space? Yes, but it's fun. It kind of goes with the season, the theming, and all of that. And I really love the eye look that I got. Now, based off of the shades that I used in here, this is the formula that I know and love from Cosmic Beauty, and this is why I love the brand as much as I do. I'm excited to dive into this one a little bit more, create some more looks, and really kind of get to know some of these other shades in here. I think this is the first time that we're seeing reds to my knowledge. I know we've got some purples in the Gothic palette that came out last year, but I'm excited that they're bringing us some reds, and I cannot wait to dive into those as well. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you picked up this mystery box, if you plan on doing so when it restocks, what you thought of the look, the products, the colors, everything. I want to have that conversation, light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.